It's like, it's crazy.
I think Tom's right about that. Sammy seems to just talk just for the sake of conversation, doesn't he?
I mean, I think it's definitely better to do that than to do to mix the two. You know what I mean? Like, you never want to be giving me impersonation that you're...
Yeah, like me, I don't do that stuff.
Right. You don't do it at all.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, you can't be too bothered knowing that, okay, now I'm, you know, trying to win your money, like, when I do that or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's bad when people, like, are talking to me unfriendly and, I don't know. I just don't like the hustling aspect. I try to avoid that.
You've played me now long enough to know that it's me. That's the thing, that's me. I don't like when I zone, not zone, rezone, whatever zone it is.
But at the same time, as you said, it does seem like Sammy is... it's not the lines he's taking, but the bet sizing, and he's sowing some seeds of confusion, isn't he?
Did you watch it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, the movie's great, huh?
Yeah, I like
The movie's fantastic. I like the movie.
Sammy's
I think the movie's great.
sort of trying to
Okay, I'll check. I'll peel off
act like he's just fooling around and
great too, or just
doesn't really care too much what happens. But you can tell he's a competitive guy. He wants to win.
Alright, I'll check. Alright.
Even in his conversation, that has to be in the back of his mind.
Let's see what the right bet is. 22,500.
What's the right bet?
22,500 plus.
Sammy adds a little bit to his lead there over Durrrr. And a look at the stats, Isaac.
Durrr's 9% 3-bet here stands out to me. When the screen popped up, I was expecting to see a higher number there, because so many of the big and interesting pots have been pots where Durrr is 3-bet.
Right, and what he's just not doing is he's not playing out of position without being the aggressor. So.
Exactly.
The Full Tilt Poker Durrrr $1 Million Challenge, swimming along nicely. Isaac.
No, in fact,
Yeah, they've pulled just about even now.
Yeah, in fact, it's good news. Because she wants her watch done. So I told her to go see, like, when you guys arrive, to go meet him and give it to him. I've already spoken to him. So he's going to sort it for you.
hand for
Maybe
Durrrr
that'll make
here.
her, like, happy-ish.
Right, Sammy takes the lead with that flop.
11,000 plus.
Wow.
Oh, and he just leads right out with a almost double top bet.
Is that an indication that Sammy is not bluffing enough from that position, or is that just one of those things?
I don't know. I mean, Tom didn't have a huge hand on the flop there. He has a lot more hands he'd rather continue with than ace-queen. So,
500 and 1,000.
I don't know. Earlier in the match, I'd been saying that Sammy seemed to just be overbetting whenever he got a huge hand. But then there was that 8-5 pot where he made that really gutsy overbet with nothing on the river. And it makes me think like he's actually putting Tom to tough decisions with his overbets. And Tom just didn't really have enough of a hand to continue there.
Is it sort of a mirage? I mean, you feel like people think, oh, heads up, you actually have to play a lot with nothing. But is that only true as far as hands you open with?
I liked it a lot.
No, I really think that continues to be true on every street.
You know the bit...
If in any spot your opponent can just bet and win the pot half the time, they have a really easy and profitable bet, and you have to be conscious of not giving them opportunities like that.
I'll just make it 3,000 dark.
Yeah.
He's made it 3.
3,000.
So this is now a blind bet by Tom Dwan.
Yep.
I was really hoping you'd fold.
It's not as loose as you think. He's raising 80% of the hands anyway from that spot.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you like that percentage, 80%?
It's alright. I think it's a little on the low side. I'd probably be playing a few more if I were him.
Oh, you really like what you must have seen. That much. Oh, I'll let you do your zoning thing now. I'll leave you to it.
Lead out by Sammy, call by Tom. How now?
Check.
Check.
I would expect Tom's going to check back here usually. I hope to get the showdown and win.
Check.
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 I have a 5.
With an 8. Good.
Sort of the medium strength hands, the toughest to play, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Tom just picked Sammy there.
Obviously, when my wife comes, that she's got to sit there, obviously. going to...
I've never met you,
Huh?
I've never met
Yeah,
you.
because she never comes poker and she hates poker.
She does?
Hates poker. Like, hates it with a passion.
Sammy was telling
Like, properly with a passion.
us earlier that
He's up to 3,000.
they most of his family don't really approve of gambling, but he's
Call.
doing so obviously they're all supporting him in this match. Very successful businessman, Sammy, and he's
Check.
obviously been very successful since his entrance into the poker world.
Check. 5,000.
Is there a reason for Tom to continue here?
I think there is. Ace High has a reasonable chance of being the best hand. And on top of that, he has the gut shot to the wheel that will
I'll let you know.
very nearly always
Whatever
be
you're
good.
planning to
And
do.
an ace will often be
It's gonna
good.
go over the top. I already said it. I said if he has it, good luck to him. If he doesn't, cool.
I mean, taking into account what Sammy actually had, Tom clearly made the best play. But there's something to think about there with Ace 3
America
for
calls me
sure.
Like 10 times a day to sign up to like this hotel thing. It's driving me mad. I keep telling, please don't call me anymore.
There's so many spam phone call things.
It's kidding me, man. They're wanting my credit card number.
1,000.
You know, there's like a do not call list in the U.S. that maybe you could be on. I don't know if
His body language right now, Sammy, just seems like he's looking around. All of a sudden, he's been a bit distracted from the game.
He's up to 3,000.
I
Call.
don't even think I'm on.
I think he may have just lost back his
I must not
lead.
because I call my phone so much. I don't know.
True.
I don't know.
That's a good idea. That do not call. Do not call is very good.
Check.
And I mean, those currents are so important. Should Durrrr be kind of pushing things a little bit right now, maybe?
no.
It's just too easy to
Well,
build a program.
it's
with
almost
mass
purely a
call.
psychological thing, so he has to make a decision about
Yeah, of course.
what he thinks Sammy is thinking. In terms of the technical dynamics of the play, going from Sammy has 260,000, Durrrr has 240 to the reverse doesn't really impact how they should be playing. But psychologically, it can make a world of difference.
Do you think Sammy's sort of more likely to kind of clam up a little bit then? Kind of get
Maybe,
closer to even, or...
Because aren't
Maybe,
calls
or
in the US
maybe
can
get
do,
more
like 30
aggressive.
cents or something a minute?
It can be really
So
hard to
it can't be
predict.
It's
efficient
goes
telemarketing.
00461.
Oh, so that's a London number, right?
I don't know, but it's like a US.
Maybe it's
It's
Canada?
like it's Canada.
461? Huh? Maybe it's just the zip and
3,000.
there's not 001? 00. So weird.
00461.
Suited ace.
Call.
But I mean, they can't be efficient telemarketing, right? Because it costs like 30 seconds. Or 30
It's kidding me, but
cents
I tell you what, I think.
And
it's
this is
like
one of the
what's got,
very
like,
sort of
American
few
accent to it.
times where Durrr's going to
like,
peel off a
you know,
flop just for a call in the
what's,
big blind.
Yeah,
Check.
yeah, he's mostly been folding or re-raising, but here he goes for a call.
It's just annoying. 2, 3, 4.
Check. Check.
And he makes a straight.
So you have to bet this on the river now,
Oh, close.
if you're Tom, or think
It would be
about...
interesting to try going for a check raise also, actually.
Oh, he has to
Sammy
be a
would be
little
likely
silly.
to, if he hit the 8, try and bet that for value.
Anyhow, I would
Though,
jack.
maybe he's just checked back with an ace high several times, and now he's gonna...
No.
Oh, Tom bet triple the pot there. That's,
There's the money.
Greedy.
greedy, yeah. I wonder if he's just
Days. 3 hours has gone pretty quick.
trying to make Sammy
next
feel
time
like
with
he's
you, bro.
bullying him,
I'm
and
with you.
Sammy needs to take a stand. It's not like Sammy's going to often have a strong hand there, so he's betting triple the pot and hoping to get called by ace high or bottom pair or something like that.
Plays up to 3,000.
Alright.
Call.
Durrr,
We're having so much fun.
It's so sick in the head.
We're evens now, and I want to go till 6.
Check.
feels like in this kind of spot, because Durrr's got nothing, aren't you more likely to make a continuation bet when you've got such a bad
100%.
hand?
Check.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't do it every single time you've got
There you go.
nothing,
Now you
because
got 6-4.
then on a board like that you're just not making a strong hand on all that often. Most of your bets are going to be with bad hands if you bet every time you flop two worthless cards between a 3 and a jack.
Well, this has come out just perfect. straight on the river and the raise.
13,500.
So 6 more.
Should get the money.
8.5 more.
8,500 more.
Ah,
Pass.
Yeah.
okay, let's get back to mode.
And Sammy now going for the sort of countdown of the chips. He does, I think, as you said, he's actually getting a little impatient and maybe a little more aggressive trying to get back even.
Yeah, it does look that way. He's looking a little restless.
Raise up to 3,000.
He jumped off to a big lead early. It's got to be a little frustrating to be starting to give it back.
Dwan has such a great sort of presence at the table as far as the live game goes. It's very hard to get any sort of read about, I don't know, what's going through his head.
Yeah, he's sort of inscrutable like that.
Check.
Is that something that you practice as well? Just kind of doing the same thing every time?
Check.
Definitely, yeah.
Are you thinking about bluffing there? Representing all them draws on the board? Be a believable one.
Also, good spot for Sammy here now that he's
Why would you go and
11,000.
do
hit top
that?
pair on the end. And Tom's so likely to have ace or king high the way he's played this.
Why can't I just keep my mouth shut? See, that's why I don't talk during poker.
Why?
Because now I have a decision to make. Because
Yet another overbet, too. I didn't
haven't
notice
checked
that
the river.
immediately.
I was pretty sure it was a 5. I was hoping it was a 6 all along, but
This feels like a good spot for it with Tom having checked back twice. He really isn't going to have better than ace or king high very often at all. Even ace high he's not going to have that often. He'd be likely to bet that on the turn.
Didn't show it. And a few more chips there. Sammy George. Have a look at the stats. And all of a sudden, Tom's opened up sort of a gap in how many hands he's winning. You'd expect, I mean, it should be 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. Heads up is an evenly balanced game. Should be going 50-50.
In heads-up play, sort of is the edge on those small pots where no one's got anything? I mean, is a 55% to 44, is that decisive?
Raise up to
Well, it's over so few hands that, to a significant extent, it could just represent Tom getting dealt the best hand more often. But if you play 10,000 hands and you're winning 55% of them, it's extremely likely that you're the person who's winning money in that matchup.
Do you feel like heads-up sort of over the long haul, the results come down to how you play big pots or how you grind away the small?
I think that in the long run, the small pots actually end up mattering more, though
1,000.
it's sort of situationally dependent. In certain matchups, it can be the reverse. If somebody is playing really poorly in the very big pots, somebody's playing in such a way that, you know, they get to win more small pots because they just refuse to give up in the big pots. Once it gets over 10 big blinds, the rest are just going in. Then they might win more than half the hands and still be the underdog in the matchup. But in general, I think that it does come down to who is picking up the small pots.
Call.
Sort of every opponent is different. Every matchup is different.
Absolutely.
Balloons.
There are a lot of different ways to win in Heads Up No Limit.
Check.
Check. Check.
I have the feeling that Tom's sort of strategy here
Please.
is
Stop.
sort of overall in this match has been sort of playing tricky and sort of letting things happen early on, trying to get in good situations when the big pots happen, or...
It does seem that way, yeah. Though, there's definitely been a component of trying to win the smaller medium pots, too. Like we were talking about earlier, Sammy's made the nut flush now. We'll bet
20,000.
again.
7 deuce.
And once again, Tom quickly folds. He does not seem to be giving Sammy much credit for making a lot of river bluffs.